When you feel like the world has turned its back on you, when you have given everything you have and still come up short, remember that God is not finished writing your story. God is about to shock you with favor beyond anything you can imagine. You may have prayed for years without seeing the answer. You may have walked through seasons when doors closed in your face and people walked away. But those delays were not denials. They were simply preparation for the unexpected blessings God has planned for you. In moments when you feel invisible or overlooked, God sees you. He knows the tears you have cried in secret. He knows the burdens you have carried alone. And He promises that at the right time, He will lift you up. Just as He raised Joseph from a prison cell to a palace, just as He called David from the pasture to the throne, He is working behind the scenes in your life. What you thought was a setback is about to become a setup. What you thought was rejection is about to become redirection. There are seasons when God holds back what you think you want so He can release what you truly need. You may have been discouraged because your plans did not work out, but God's plans are always better. His favor is not limited by your past mistakes or your current circumstances. He does not consult your failures to decide your future. The grace He has for you is greater than the obstacles in front of you. The blessings He has prepared will come in ways you could never have orchestrated on your own. Some of you are standing on the edge of a breakthrough and don't even realize it. You have grown weary waiting for change, but God says, I am about to do a new thing. The opportunities you thought had passed you by are coming back around, this time wrapped in His favor. The dreams you buried under disappointment are going to rise again. The relationships you thought were beyond repair are going to be restored. God has a history of surprising His people. He provided manna in the desert when there was no food. He opened the Red Sea when there was no way forward. He healed the sick, raised the dead, and multiplied the little that people had into more than enough. This same God has not lost His power. He has not lost His love for you. He is about to open doors no one can shut. He is about to release resources you did not even know existed. He is about to bring the right people into your life at just the right time. It may look impossible right now. It may look like the odds are stacked against you. But remember, God specializes in the impossible. He delights in showing His strength in your weakness. Where you see limitation, He sees opportunity. Where you see defeat, He sees victory. Where you see emptiness, He sees the perfect place to pour out His abundance. Don't let your heart be troubled by what you see. Keep believing for the unexpected. Keep expecting His favor. Keep trusting that what He promised, He will surely bring to pass. Because when God moves, no force on earth can stand in His way. He is about to shock you with blessings you didn't even have the courage to ask for. He is about to fill your life with evidence of His goodness. So get ready, stay in faith. Lift up your head. Your season of unexpected favor is here, and it's going to be more than you ever hoped for. Even in the moments when you feel like your prayers echo back in silence, God has not forgotten you. It is easy to believe that if you don't see immediate evidence of His work, He must have turned away or lost interest in your life. But the truth is, God has never taken His eyes off you. He has never stopped caring about what you are going through. Every tear you have shed has been seen. Every sigh of exhaustion has been heard. Every anxious thought has been understood. There is not a single moment in your life that escapes His notice or falls outside His compassion. You may think no one understands what you carry or how much you've given, but God has been with you through it all. When you stayed up late worrying about your future, He was there beside you. When you questioned whether you would ever see change, He was working behind the scenes in ways you could not see. When you felt like everyone else moved forward and you were stuck in place, God was protecting you from things you didn't even know could harm you. Sometimes, what looks like delay is actually His mercy, keeping you in His perfect timing instead of your own rushed plans. People may have overlooked your value or discounted your abilities, but that does not change how God sees you. To Him you are treasured, chosen, and set apart for a purpose that cannot be stolen or canceled by anyone else. The opinions of others may have left you feeling unworthy or inadequate, but God's love for you is not based on their approval. He knows your heart better than anyone else ever could. He knows the purity of your intentions and the sincerity of your faith. Even if you have made mistakes, He has not turned His face away. He is still drawing you close, still calling you His beloved child, still determined to lead you into the fullness of His promise. There are times when silence feels like abandonment, but silence is often the space where God builds your faith. In those quiet seasons, you learn to lean on Him without needing constant reassurance. You discover that your worth is not proven by instant answers or obvious victories, but by your willingness to trust that He is working all things for your good. When you choose to believe in His faithfulness despite the delay, you are honoring Him in a way that deepens your relationship and strengthens your spirit. Remember that God's timeline is not the same as yours. What seems slow to you is right on schedule for Him. He is not bound by deadlines or limited by circumstances. When He looks at your life, He sees the end from the beginning. He knows exactly what you need and when you need it. He knows the lessons you must learn before the blessing arrives. He knows the people who need to come into your life and the doors that need to open. If you could see what He sees, you would understand why certain prayers take time to be answered. But even when you don't see, you can trust that He is faithful. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not invisible to the One who created you. He has inscribed your name on the palm of His hand. He has numbered every hair on your head. He has declared that nothing can separate you from His love. So even when you feel alone, remind yourself that God is nearer than your next breath. He is holding you together when you feel like falling apart. He is carrying you when you are too tired to keep walking. And in His perfect time, He will reveal the purpose behind every tear and every trial. Until then, keep your heart anchored in the truth that you are seen, you are valued, and you are deeply loved by a God who never forgets His own. There are moments in life when you stand at the edge of what you hoped for, and all you see is a door closed tight. You pray, you plan, you put your whole heart into something only to watch it slip through your fingers. In those moments, it can feel like God has said no, and that the dream you carried is over. But what you must remember is that delays are not denials. Just because it hasn't happened yet does not mean it will never happen. Sometimes the waiting is part of the blessing because it prepares you for what is coming next. When you are in a season of waiting, it can feel like you are standing still while everyone else is moving forward. You look around and see people getting married, having children, launching businesses, receiving recognition, and stepping into opportunities you thought would come to you first. It is in these seasons that your faith is refined and your trust in God is tested. You learn to surrender your own timetable and lean into His. You discover that He is not in a hurry because He cares more about your growth than your comfort. He is shaping your character, strengthening your endurance, and deepening your dependence on Him. There are blessings that are so significant, they require preparation you can't always see. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. For a long time, there is no evidence that anything is happening. Day after day, it looks as though the soil is just the same as it was before. But beneath the surface, roots are stretching wide and deep. Those roots are necessary to sustain the life that will soon break through. If the plant sprouted too soon without a strong root system, it would wither when the heat came. In the same way, God allows you to develop spiritual roots in the unseen places so that when the blessing comes, you have the maturity and faith to sustain it. Delay is not God punishing you or withholding good things from you. Delay is often God protecting you from what you are not ready to handle. It is His way of ensuring that when you receive what He has promised, it will be a source of joy and not sorrow. Sometimes, in hindsight, you will look back and thank Him that He didn't answer your prayers when you demanded it. You will see how His timing was perfect, even when it made no sense to you at the time. God does not forget the promises He has spoken over your life. He is not late. He is always right on time. The doors that closed were not the only doors He could open. The opportunities you thought were gone forever are not the only ways He can bless you. He has unlimited resources and infinite creativity. Where you see one path, He sees 1,000. Where you see finality, He sees a fresh start. When you feel discouraged by the delays, lift your eyes above your circumstances and set your heart on the One who holds your future. Trust that He is faithful to complete what He has begun in you. Believe that He will redeem the time you think you have lost. Even in the waiting, He is working. Even when you can't see it, He is aligning situations, arranging divine connections, and preparing blessings beyond your imagination. So do not give up when it feels like nothing is happening. Do not assume that a closed door means the end of your dream. Keep praying, keep believing, and keep showing up with a heart ready to receive. Because when God moves, what once seemed impossible happens in an instant. What felt like endless delay becomes a testimony of His perfect timing. Your season of waiting is not wasted. It is a sacred space where your faith grows strong and your spirit learns to trust that delays are never denials in the hands of a loving God. There are times when life seems predictable and routine, when each day feels like a repeat of the one before, and you start to believe that nothing will ever change. You convince yourself that you have seen all that God will do for you, that you have reached the limit of what is possible in your life. But you must never forget that God is not confined by your expectations. He is the God of the unexpected, the God of surprise favor, the God who delights in exceeding what you think can happen. Just when you feel like giving up, He has a way of stepping in and reminding you that His power is limitless and His love for you is beyond measure. Unexpected favor is coming into your life, and it will arrive in ways you could never orchestrate by your own strength or planning. You may be working hard, staying faithful, and doing your best, but the blessing God is preparing will go beyond your effort. It will be unearned and undeniable evidence of His goodness. He knows how to position you in front of the right people, how to open doors you never even knocked on, and how to bring opportunities you didn't think were possible. You may have thought your season had passed or that you missed your chance, but God does not operate on your schedule. He knows exactly when to release what He has prepared. There are divine appointments ahead that will change the course of your story. You don't have to chase them down or manipulate circumstances to make them happen. God will cause the right connections to find you. He will place you in the right place at exactly the right moment. What you thought was coincidence will be revealed as His perfect orchestration. Sometimes He will even use setbacks and disappointments to position you for something far greater. You may not understand why certain things did not work out, but one day you will look back and see that they were necessary detours that led you straight to His favor. When God decides to favor you, no opposition can stop it. The opinions of others cannot block it. The limitations of your background, your resources, or your education cannot hinder it. His favor is not based on what you deserve, but on who He is. He loves to lift up the humble and to do the extraordinary through ordinary people. He loves to show His glory in ways that make it clear it was His hand and not your own. You don't have to earn it. You just have to be willing to receive it with gratitude and faith. Get ready for doors to open that you didn't even know existed. Get ready for phone calls with good news that you weren't expecting. Get ready for relationships to be restored, for provision to come out of nowhere, for healing to appear where there was only pain. God is not limited by the reports you have heard or the statistics you have read. He is not intimidated by the obstacles in front of you. One touch of His favor can accomplish more than years of striving on your own. Keep your heart expectant because your attitude determines your readiness. If you expect nothing, you prepare for nothing. But when you live with the mindset that God can do the miraculous at any moment, you create space for Him to move. You show Him that you trust His timing, His wisdom, and His goodness. You show Him that you believe He is still the God who does exceedingly, abundantly above all you can ask or imagine. So don't settle for small thinking. Don't assume that your best days are behind you, or that your story is already written. You are on the brink of something new. God is about to shock you with favor that will leave you in awe. Stay faithful. Stay hopeful. Keep doing what He has asked you to do. And watch as He opens the heavens over your life and pours out blessings you never saw coming. The unexpected is on the way, and it will be more wonderful than you ever dared to believe. When you look at the obstacles in front of you, it can feel overwhelming. You might see mountains too high to climb, walls too thick to break through, problems too complicated to solve. The voices around you may say it's impossible, that it's too late, that you don't have what it takes. But God specializes in the impossible. He has never been limited by human logic, natural laws, or the opinions of people. What is impossible for you is easy for Him. Where you see a dead end, He sees an opportunity to reveal His glory. Where you see no way out, He is already preparing a way through. Throughout Scripture, again and again, God demonstrates that nothing is too hard for Him. When the Israelites stood trapped between Pharaoh's army and the Red Sea, they could see no escape. Their situation looked hopeless. But God parted the waters and led them safely to the other side. When Sarah was too old to have a child, God fulfilled His promise and gave her Isaac. When Lazarus had been dead 4 days, Jesus called him out of the tomb alive and whole. These are not just stories from long ago, they are reminders that the same power is alive and working today in your life. You may have been told that your diagnosis is permanent, that your financial situation is beyond repair, that your family will never be restored. But God is not intimidated by the size of the challenge. He is not wringing His hands in worry or searching for solutions. He already holds the answer in His hands. His power cannot be measured, and His authority cannot be challenged. When He speaks, sickness must leave. When He commands, doors open. When He moves, chains fall. Sometimes God allows the situation to look impossible on purpose. He lets it reach the point where you know you cannot fix it on your own, so that when the breakthrough comes, you will have no doubt that it was His hand. In those moments, your faith is refined, your dependence on Him grows deeper, and your testimony becomes undeniable. If everything were easy, you would never discover how strong and faithful He is. It's in the battles you can't win alone that you experience the fullness of His might. You do not have to figure out how it will all work out. You don't have to know every detail of the solution. Your part is to believe, to stand firm, and to keep trusting. God is drawn to faith that dares to look beyond the natural and expect the supernatural. When you declare, "I don't know how, but I believe God can," you are giving Him space to do what only He can do. He honors that kind of trust. Never underestimate what God can do in a moment. Years of struggle can be turned around in an instant. Doors that have been locked for decades can swing open without warning. Relationships that seemed beyond repair can be restored with a single word of healing. Don't limit God with your expectations or with the discouragement you feel. He is bigger than any problem you face, and He is able to do more than you ask or imagine. Keep speaking words of faith over your situation. Keep thanking Him in advance for the miracle. Even when nothing looks different, trust that He is working behind the scenes. Angels are moving, hearts are being softened, resources are being lined up, and solutions are being prepared. You will see what He promised come to pass. What feels impossible to you is the perfect canvas for God to paint a masterpiece of His power. He loves to take the impossible and make it possible so that the world will see and know that He alone is God. Hold your head high. Refuse to give in to fear. Keep your hope alive. The God who specializes in the impossible has not forgotten you, and He is about to show you what He can do. There are so many voices that will try to convince you that your past defines who you are and what you can become. They will remind you of every mistake, every wrong turn, every moment of weakness and failure. They will say that because of what you did or what you didn't do, you have forfeited your chance at God's best. But none of those voices speak the truth about you. God does not consult your past to determine your future. He does not look at your failures and decide you are disqualified. He looks at your heart and sees someone worth redeeming, restoring, and blessing beyond measure. When you belong to God, your past is covered by His grace. No sin is too dark, no regret too deep, no failure too final. The sacrifice of Jesus on the cross was enough to pay the price for every mistake you have ever made or ever will make. When He declared, "It is finished," He meant that nothing you have done has the power to cancel what He has planned for you. That is why the enemy works so hard to keep you chained to shame and guilt, because he knows if you ever fully believed you were forgiven, you would step boldly into your purpose. God is in the business of rewriting stories. He took Moses, who had murdered a man, and called him to lead an entire nation to freedom. He took Rahab, who had been trapped in a life of sin, and used her to protect His people and become part of the lineage of Jesus. He took Peter, who denied even knowing Christ and transformed him into a powerful preacher who brought thousands to faith. None of these people were defined by their worst moments. They were defined by God's mercy, God's calling, and God's love. You are no different. Whatever is in your past, whatever still makes you cringe when you remember it, does not get the final word. God's grace is bigger than your guilt. His purpose is stronger than your failures. The enemy will keep trying to drag you backward into condemnation, but God keeps calling you forward into freedom. Every time you feel unworthy, remember that He already knew every wrong you would commit before He chose you. He loved you then, and He loves you now. Nothing you have done has changed His mind about you. If you keep rehearsing your mistakes, you will live in a prison of regret. But if you surrender your past to God, He will turn even your failures into something that brings Him glory. The very places where you were broken can become the places where His healing shines the brightest. The wounds you thought would always define you can become testimonies that set others free. God does not just erase your past, He redeems it. He uses everything, the good, the bad, and the painful, for your good and His purposes. What the enemy meant for harm, God can transform into blessing. The closed doors, the betrayals, the lost opportunities, none of them are wasted in His hands. He can take every fragment of your story and weave it into something beautiful. This is why you must stop believing that your best days are behind you. Stop believing that you have messed up too badly to be used by God. As long as you have breath in your lungs, He still has a purpose for you. He still has blessings prepared, relationships to restore, dreams to awaken, and miracles to unfold. Your past is simply a chapter in a much bigger story, and God is the author who knows exactly how to bring it all together for good. So lift your head. Refuse to let shame have power over you any longer. Walk in the freedom and confidence that comes from knowing you are forgiven, loved, and called. Your past does not define you. God does. And He says you are His masterpiece, created to do great things in His name. Every day you wake up is another chance to believe that God can move in your life in ways you have not yet seen. It is easy to slip into routines where you expect nothing new, where you brace yourself for disappointment instead of preparing your heart for blessing. But God calls you to stay expectant and ready because He is not finished working. Even if you have waited for years, even if you have faced setback after setback, your story is not over. His power is not diminished by time, and His plans are not limited by what has or hasn't happened so far. Living expectant is a decision you make every single day. It means you choose to wake up and declare, today could be the day God opens the door. Today could be the day the answer comes. Today could be the day the burden lifts. Expectancy fuels your faith. It keeps your spirit alive when everything around you looks the same. It keeps you moving forward when you feel like standing still. God honors a heart that believes He can do the impossible even after a long season of waiting. Readiness is more than wishful thinking. It is preparing yourself in practical and spiritual ways to receive what God has promised. If you are believing for a job, readiness looks like updating your skills, filling out applications, and imagining yourself succeeding in your new role. If you are believing for restored relationships, readiness means softening your heart, practicing forgiveness, and praying for healing. If you are believing for a fresh start, readiness is letting go of bitterness, speaking words of life, and aligning your actions with your faith. Many people stop short of their breakthrough because they grow weary and let their hearts harden. Disappointment can make you numb. Delays can make you settle for less. But God is calling you to lift your head again, to rekindle your hope, and to live with the expectation that at any moment He can change everything. You may not see how it can happen, but that is exactly why it is called faith. Faith is believing in what you do not yet see, trusting that God's hand is working behind the scenes. Staying expectant is not about pretending you don't feel discouraged or acting like you are never tired. It is about choosing to believe that God's promises are truer than your feelings. It is about anchoring yourself to the truth that He is faithful and that He rewards those who diligently seek Him. When you feel tempted to give up, remind yourself of all the times He has come through before. Remember the doors He opened that you never expected. Think about the prayers He answered when you were sure there was no way. If He did it then, He can do it again. Get your heart ready by filling it with His Word. Let Scripture be the foundation that holds you steady when circumstances try to shake you. Speak His promises over your life, even when your emotions don't agree. Tell yourself every day, God is for me. He is working in my situation. He is preparing blessings that exceed my expectations. When you align your thoughts and words with faith, you create an atmosphere where miracles can unfold. God is not asking you to make everything happen by yourself. He is asking you to trust Him, to prepare, and to stay ready. He is the one who will bring the right opportunities, open the right doors, and position you for favor. All He needs is your willingness to believe. Your season of unexpected breakthroughs is closer than you think. Don't let disappointment steal your anticipation. Don't let fear hold you back. Keep your heart soft, your hands open, and your spirit ready to move when He says move. You have come too far to give up now. Stay expectant, stay ready, and watch how God surprises you with goodness beyond your imagination.